So today I'm going to be spending 100 days in Minecraft one block. If you don't know what that is, it's basically where you start on this one block. It's an infinite block that has different stages, each bringing their own set of corresponding blocks and mobs. I wonder how much we can accomplish in these 100 days, and if you do too, then make sure to keep on watching to find out. But before we do get into the video, as always, if you are new to the channel, then make sure to subscribe. And if you do enjoy the video, to drop a like. Now that's all out the way, let's jump straight into these 100 days in Minecraft one block. As soon as I logged into the game, I took a look around at my surroundings. There was nothing besides this one block which I stood upon. I started to break it, and once I got a couple of blocks, I placed them around the side so I could have more space to move around. After getting some more wood, I made myself a crafting table and some wooden tools that would help speed up the process of getting more blocks. Not soon after, I got myself some company. I placed some more blocks around so I didn't accidentally fall off and just carried on minding my own business. In one of the chests there was a water bucket which I used to just go down and place a block underneath the infinite block so things such as gravel or sand don't fall all the way to the bottom. Then make some fences and trapped in the pig. After getting a chest which seemed to passionately show how it felt about me, I seemed to have unlocked an upgrade. I had no idea what this meant, so I waited to find out. Once the countdown was over, I seemed to have reached the plains phase, so I started to mine the blocks straight away. Not soon after, I got some more company, and since the area started to get a bit more crowded, I pushed the other pig into the fence as well, and started to expand the area with the dirt I had. Following some more block breaking and many animals later, I reached the end of the plains phase and was onto the underground. This means I can start getting some cobblestone, and also run for my life on the very small space I had. But as you guys know, I'm like such a great player, so I took care of them with such ease. The next day came and I was still mining the infinite block, as that was all I could really do. It was literally what I did for that entire day. I was also surprised by some rabbits who seemed to be quite suicidal. I then finally got some more iron, which was enough for me to make myself some iron boots, and then some more for an iron helmet as well. It didn't take me too long to blast through that phase, and I was now onto the icy tundra. A couple of blocks later, a chest appeared. It had some bones in there which I used to tame this wolf. And since it was dark, I decided to head to bed. In the morning, I wanted to make the infinite block a bit more obvious, so I placed some spruce and oak planks around it. I was just minding my own business, mining some blocks, and out of nowhere, these two icy skeleton things spawned. The wolf I tamed went after them, which brought me a little bit of time, but it wasn't enough, as he fell to his death. And not soon after, I did as well. But I got back up and collected all of my stuff. With the iron that was in the furnace, I made myself some leggings and carried on doing the only thing I could do, mine. From days 4 to 5, I just mined and nothing much interesting happened, besides this polar bear that just absolutely destroyed those snow foxes. I think that's what they're called, but anyways, I didn't want to be next, so I just carried on mining. And in the evening, I started to cut down some trees, as I was going to need a lot of wood if I wanted to expand my area. So I started to place down some stairs. I thought that having this area a bit more elevated would look cool, so that's what I did. I spent that entire day collecting wood and placing slabs and replanting the saplings. Once the area was made, I decided that I wanted to move the animals there and place them in their own separate pens, instead of what I had going on right now. I also got myself another pet. Hopefully he won't share the same fate as the previous one.
A few moments later.
Yeah, let's not talk about that. I then attempted to make a shield, and since it started to get dark, I went to bed. I carried on mining the block, and not soon after, I unlocked the upgrade, which was the ocean phase. I mined it for a while but stopped, since I knew this stage would bring a lot of dangerous mobs. So I decided to bring the rest of the animals over to the platform that I made before, so I could have more space, and in the evening I started to make another area. I wanted this place to be where I grew some crops, so I moved the crops that I had over here over, and placed some spruce stairs around to decorate it. Then spent the night getting some more wood, and also placed a fence around the infinite block, as I knew as I progressed through the stages, more dangerous mobs would be spawning. A couple of blocks later, I was greeted by 2 guardians, but as always, I took care of them with such ease. The next day, the elder guardian paid me a visit. Yeah, I really didn't like this one. It was doing a lot of damage, so I crafted myself a bow, and with a couple of arrows, I fired my first shot. And it didn't take too long for my opponent to meet his downfall. On days 11 to 12, I did the same thing, mining and fighting. And on days 13 to 15, I used some cobble and spruce to make another platform, where I planned to have a little tree farm. While doing this, I don't want to say it, but I fell to my death. And I won't be going into any further detail. But once I was done, I did the exact same thing on the other side, and before I knew it, I was onto phase 5, the jungle dungeon. This is a stage where I think you could start getting some diamonds, and it seemed like I was right, as I finally got my hands on my first diamond. While I was planting some trees, a creeper and a zombie seemed to have spawned on the other side. I didn't seem to light up the area well enough, and because of this mistake, the creeper blew up and knocked me off. Yeah, I'm really glad this isn't hardcore. Day 17 to 19, I continued mining the block, and I also got another one of these chests with love hearts, which gave me 2 more diamonds. The next stage seemed to be the red desert phase. I got a bunch of lapis, emeralds, some diamonds, and I also got a villager. Now I knew that I didn't want to let it out just yet, as I never had a place to put it. The next thing I decided to do was make a place for where I would keep the villagers. I began collecting the resources that I would need. I decided to make this platform on the side where I grew the crops and trees and started to plan out the build. I was thinking of going with a simple house design where I would keep all the villagers in, and once the outline was made, I then planned out the roof. From days 21 to 25, I carried on collecting resources and working on the build. When it was done, it looked like this. To be honest, I was quite proud of what I made so far, and started to move the villager over. It didn't take me too long to realize that boats can't go over stairs. I mean, this did seem quite obvious now that I think of it, but anyways, at this moment, I was kind of confused, so I headed to bed. To make the area a bit more secure, I made some spruce fences, which I placed around this dirt area. As always, I did some more mining, fought off some monster gods, and finally made it to the 7th phase, the Nether. I knew that this phase was one of the hardest as blazes and gas would spawn. I didn't want them to set fire to anything, so I didn't start mining. Since I couldn't bring the villager over to the house, I decided to keep it for myself and began moving all the stuff that were in these chests over. It was definitely a lot of work to sort out all the stuff, but it was surely worth it. I was done planning on doing another extension, so I started to collect a lot of wood. And it was also going to be the same level as the infinite block, so I could easily bring the villagers over. It was nothing too fancy, just an open space, with some spruce fences for protection. I then decided to bring the villagers and the wandering traders that I had over. I also realised I haven't bred any of the animals for a while, so I did that as well. I worked on some trades as I wanted to get a mending or a fortune book. The fortune book would definitely be useful, as I could get more out of the ores I mined. Before I started to mine the nether phase, I grabbed a bunch of cobblestone and made a wall around the infinite block, as the last thing I wanted was a gas or a blaze setting everything I made so far on fire. With the diamonds I had, I made myself a diamond pickaxe so I could mine any obsidian and ancient debris that would show up. My first encounter with a blaze appeared, and very unfortunately it killed my parrot and set this horse on fire, but after a few hits it went down. In one of the chests that showed up, I finally got a lava bucket, but before I could even pick it up, a gas spawned in. Luckily I didn't have to do too much as the cobblestone structure that I made suffocated it. The next thing I was planning on making was a cobblestone generator, but I was going to need another water bucket to do this. So I carried on mining through the nether phase and I was visited by a bunch of monster gods. I took care of them, but unfortunately my house was on fire. I ran towards it and started to put out the fire as fast as I could. Just looking at it made me feel very upset, but on the bright side, only the front of my house was damaged. I didn't really feel like fixing it straight away, so I just carried on mining. I then spent day 37 collecting a bunch of wood which I used to fix up my house. Once again, I carried on mining the blocks so I could move on to the next phase. I was hoping that this phase could hopefully give me a water bucket so I could start making the cobblestone generator. I don't know why it took me so long to realise that I already had 2 buckets of water, which when I put together can make an infinite water source. I then got the water and lava buckets that I needed, and took a look around at where I wanted to build this. I figured that over to this side with the animals that would be a good place to begin working on this. Instead of making the same square and rectangle platform that I've been doing, I decided to go with a circle shape. After making it, I then realised the area looked a bit too nice for a cobblestone generator, so I literally just made a simple one on the main island. It seemed to work not too bad, maybe not the most efficient, but I guess I'll do for now. I plan to leave the circle platform I made for something else like another portal or enchantment area. And now that the very small cobble generator was out the way, I wanted to make a mob farm, which would be very useful to get a lot of levels and loot. So I began making yet another platform, which was going to be on this side of the infinite block. When I was done with the flooring, I began collecting some cobble for the mob farm. And I guess I'll just show you guys a quick little time lapse of the build. After it was all built, I gave it a test and it seemed to work pretty well. I then carried on mining, and after a while I was onto the desolate land, which is the stronghold stage. The chests I had around were all full, so I started to sort them out. And while I was in my home, I started to put in some windows. The next day I started to work on some villager trades, and after a while I got a mending book for 16 emeralds, which was exactly what I wanted. I brought it straight away to lock in the trade, but since I never had enough iron for an anvil, I just kept it in my inventory. It was then about time to improve this cobblestone generator, so I started to make a better one near the mob farm. It looked and it worked like this. As always, I just carried on mining and fighting my way through the stage. It also seems that where the villagers stayed, an iron golem spawned, so I used this as an opportunity to get some more iron so I could use it to make the anvil. Day 65 started off with me mining again, and in the evening I grabbed all the diamonds I had, and with them I made a diamond chestplate which I upgraded to netherite and applied a mending book to it. To my diamond pickaxe I applied a mending and a fortune book. And lastly I then made some diamond leggings and upgraded them to netherite as well. I then did some farming and selling to get more emeralds, and then made it to the end of the stronghold phase. The countdown for the next stage began and I patiently waited. I had finally reached the end phase. The following day I began working on another portal, and for someone like me this was a very difficult task. I really don't know why I still struggle to make another portal, but anyways I just needed 2 more pieces of obsidian to finish it off. So with the lava and water buckets I had, I made some more. Then with a flint and steel I lit up the portal. Made myself some gold boots and went to sleep. In the morning I sorted out my inventory and then headed in. I took a look around at what kind of spawner I had and I fell right down to my death. Yeah, my legs were feeling absolutely amazing. Anyways, after this very unfortunate event, I just quickly scrambled for some loot. I went back in to get everything back. After I got everything, I went straight back to the overworld. I carried on mining to the end phase and then decided to make an enchantment table which I placed near the nether portal. All I needed now was some bookshelves, but the sugarcane just took their time to grow. So I carried on mining and defeated every mob that came in my way. With the bones I collected from the mob farm, I turned them into bone meal and did a bunch of farming and selling as I needed some emeralds. I then thought that this little crop area really wasn't cutting it anymore, so I decided to make another area near my home. I planted a bunch of wheat, carrots and potatoes and once again did a bunch of farming and selling. I tried to get some more trades but I really wasn't getting anything good, so I began to gather resources for another area which was on this side of my house. Here I planned to make a sugarcane farm. And this is how it turned out. On day 81 to 83 I carried on farming and selling and bought a protection 4 book that I applied to my chestplate. I carried on doing some more mining and then out of nowhere I seemed to have reached the end. I went back to take a look at the block and underneath it, there it was, the end portal. Just had some pretty cool stuff inside, and after I took what it offered me, there seemed to be another upgrade coming, which seemed to be the after phase stage. I then grabbed a water bucket and with it I made my way towards the end portal, and started to expand the area with some endstone. I made a wall around it and a way to come up and down, then placed a trapdoor on top which stood out quite a bit but it'll do. Before I headed to the end I wanted to get some more trades like sharpness or efficiency. Since I couldn't really use the enchantment table as I already had put mending on my items. So then I spent the entire day trying to get the trades, but unfortunately they never gave me what I wanted. I went to bed. How rude. So I tried again the next morning and it was literally the same. I got nothing. So I spent the evening mining the infinite block and was greeted by a monster party. But as always I fought them off very easily. Also sorting out some trades again, I got Unbreaking 3 for 18, which I thought wasn't too bad, so I brought it and put it on my sword. Then I started to make some slow falling potions for when I fight the ender dragon. I seemed to have 3 ender eyes already, so when I went to the portal to see how many more I needed, it appeared that I only needed 1 more. So I placed the ender eyes in, and I would place the last one when I was ready to go in. The next trade I got was Sharpness 5 for 64 emeralds. And I thought why not get it since I didn't want to waste any more time trying to get it for cheaper. So after a bit of farming and selling, I brought it and applied it straight to my sword. Then once I got some more emeralds, I bought a protection book for my helmet as well. I made 1 more bookshelf for the enchantment table and enchantment bow with whatever was available. Sorted out my inventory, made the last ender eye I needed and was then ready to fight the ender dragon. I placed in the last ender eye and jumped straight in. I made my way into the main island and started to fire some shots at the end crystals. The towers I couldn't see well, I used a bucket of water to climb up and then took out the last crystals that remained. This now meant that I could start hurting the dragon, so I fired some amazing bow shots. When she came down, I struck her with my sword. It was dealing a lot of damage. Luckily, the slow falling potion protected me whenever I was hit into the air. And it didn't take me too long to bring the dragon down with my last shot. And there we go, she was finally defeated. I collected the gold XP as well as a dragon egg. And when I headed back to the overworld, I made a little paste to the egg. It wasn't the best, but I was happy with it. I made myself an iron pickaxe and then placed it into the enchantment table and got efficiency and unbreaking. I wanted to use this for netherite mining as I still needed a helmet and boots for a full set of armor. So I headed into the nether and made a staircase all the way down to Y15. After a bit of mining, I realised that I didn't want my iron pickaxe to break, so I bought a mending book for it and also made some TNT. And I guess here's a little time lapse of how that mining session went. I came back to the overworld with 7 pieces, and I knew that I had 1 scrap in one of the chests, so I made myself 2 netherite kits, which I used for my helmet and boots. So I seem to have accomplished most of the things that I wanted to do, so I decided to why not explore the end and see if I can find any end cities. And not too far into my search, I came across my first end city. After looting it up, I knew that there might be another one nearby. So I turned up my render distance and took a look around. And I was right, so I headed over and looted it up. This one had a ship, but before I bridged over, I took care of the shulkers that were guarding it. And when I picked up the elytra, it just disappeared. And when I hit the photo frame, it came back. Yeah, that was a bit weird. Since it was day 99, I decided that I'd collected enough loot, so I decided to head back. When I came back to the overworld, I sorted out my inventory, healed my weapons, and then headed to bed. So I guess that's it. We spent 100 days in Minecraft 1 block, and we seem to have accomplished so much. I was very proud of everything I've done and built up to this point, and I hope you guys are too. As always, if you guys did enjoy this video, make sure to subscribe, and if you haven't already, drop a like as well. And I guess I'll see you guys in the next video.